Hello, welcome to Introduction to Archaeology. I am your instructor, Dr. Karin Berg, and what I want to do is give you a quick tour of the course so you know where to find everything. This is the course home. Right now you can see there's no announcements, there's nothing to really show you, no work to do, but this is going to be your opening page when you get into the class. And in this, there will be an announcement every week. Obviously, there's no announcement right now because I'm recording this before school starts, but there will be an announcement each week. Sometimes those announcements will remind you of important deadlines, so just read through them. Most of them are not too long. The first one is a little bit lengthy, but most of them are pretty short. They give you some deadlines, they remind you to take the quiz, they let you know what we're talking about this week. If I notice any patterns in quizzes or assignments, I talk about them there so that you can have a sense of where you may have not performed well or where everyone was doing a good job. So all of that's going to be in the announcements. The second place that's going to be super important for you is this content page. The content has a lot of different things in it. So you can bookmark items if you want. I don't have anything bookmarked. There's a course overview, which is pretty basic, but if you want to read through it. Course schedule, so it tells you what's coming up in the next few days. And then you want to dive into the table of contents. So the table of contents has a ton of stuff in it. First place you're going to start is this Getting Started module. This is important. This is where your syllabus is. This is where information about extra credit is, discussion guidelines that tells you how you should be participating in the discussions, and just a little bit of extra information. Make sure that you read the syllabus in its entirety. It has a lot of information in it, and it also has all of the relevant due dates. So those should not change throughout the semester unless some crazy emergency arises. So this is going to be your guide, and that way you won't have any surprises if you look through it. The second place that's going to be important for you this semester is this paper presentation module. The paper assignment document gives you all the information you need for the paper, for the presentation, what it should look like, what's the expectation, what are the deadlines. They're all listed in that document. The second thing is the rubric for the paper. So it tells you exactly how it's going to be graded so that when you're writing that paper, you can go through the rubric and make sure you hit all the high points. And then the final document is obviously the presentation grading, which will let you know how the presentation will be graded towards the end of the semester. The other thing I am going to add into this module, it just occurred to me as I was talking, is I'm going to put a link to the Google document where you will select your paper topic. So you can come here to find that. It's also going to be in a couple of announcements. Resources. This is for writing your paper. So in resources, you'll see we've got a style guide. I would prefer, actually, I'm going to insist that you use APA for the paper. So for those of you who are more familiar with MLA, APA is actually a super easy style guide. I'm going to have you learn it because this is a social science class. And these two links will give you information on how to use the APA style guide. This writing structure and focus talks to you about how to write a paper. I'm sure most of you have some experience in writing a paper, but if you struggle with that, here are a few links on how to organize, what's the best way to write a summary analysis and response paper, how do you write term papers for anthropology specifically, so lots of good use in here. There's also a writing center at Front Range Community College that you can access online. You can send them your paper and they will offer you comments, but you need to plan ahead when you use that resource, and that is listed on the paper information sheet. Some other things, some writing resources talking about grammar, how you can fix some common grammar mistakes. I just found these to be fairly useful. And then some reading resources. So if you struggle with reading chapters in textbooks or reading scholarly articles, these are some good tips for improving your reading comprehension. What's the best way to read and annotate these articles? Some just some ideas that might make reading some of these things easier for you. So just a few resources in this module. This interesting stuff module, these are things that I find amusing or interesting in anthropology and archaeology, and I've tried to make sure that they're at least relevant to most of the topics at hand, and then some of them just sort of add a human element. So if you have some free time and you want to read through it, or if anthropology and archaeology is your jam, these are fun articles, and I'll probably add to them throughout the semester. I usually throw in 2 or 3 a semester as these articles come across my desk, my computer. And then the meat of the class is going to be in these week modules. And I'm going to show you, actually, I'm going to show you week 2 because week 2 has sort of everything that you'll be doing. So each week, the module will have the goals for the week. It'll remind you to take the quiz because each week, except for week 1 and the presentation week, there will be a quiz. There's a checklist. So each checklist has all of the readings, the videos, the lectures, everything you need to do for the week is going to be in that checklist. And in some cases with the hard deadlines, those will also show up in your calendar. In these modules, there'll be a lecture by me. Typically, those are usually under 15 minutes. Sometimes there'll be videos. If there's more than one video, I've tried to keep those videos shorter. Otherwise, you might have a single video that's a little bit longer. And then any readings you might have. So in this case, you're going to be reading Motel of the Mysteries. In other cases, it'll say reading and then the last name of whoever the author of that reading is. And these are PDF documents and additional readings in addition to your textbook. There will also be a link to your discussion each week. So you can look at this and see the discussion topic. You can click right on that and that'll take you to the discussion. And a link to the quiz each week. Like I said, there will be a quiz except for week 1 and the week of presentation. So week 11 will not have a quiz. So that link will also be in there. So those are the modules each week. There's also, let me find week 5 for you. In week 5, there's also a link to the assignment that's due. So you can click in there to get to the assignment folder so you can upload your assignment if you want to. And that will also be present for you towards the end when your final paper is due. So those are your modules. So each week you're going to pop in the module. They'll open at the beginning of each week and you'll go through those modules and the checklist will guide you in doing all of the items or completing all of the items for the week. Other important places for you to look and explore assignments. This is where you're going to turn in all of your assignments. So you've got 3 assignments that are going to get turned in here: topic paragraph, your final essay, and your extra credit. There's also discussions. So if you don't want to go all the way into the module, you can come find the discussions in the discussion section. And then you can also, in quizzes, find your quizzes here. This is also where you will go when you are looking to figure out the grade on quizzes. So if you missed any items on the quizzes, you can go and look at that and see what the correct answer was. Or if it was a written response, you can see my comments on that. Other important tabs that I'm not going to click on because my instructor view also shows everyone in the class. Grades and the class list. So the class list you can use to email folks in your class. The grades is where you're going to find your grades. It's very important that you check these weekly to make sure I didn't make any errors, to make sure that I graded everything you turned in. You want to make sure that I didn't miss grading something. Every once in a while, a grade doesn't connect with the grade book in Upload. Every once in a while, I'm misgrading somebody's quiz or somebody's discussion. So you want to make sure that I haven't missed you. So just each week, pop in there, check the grades, make sure that I've graded it. If I have not graded the previous week's items by Friday, it's worth sending me an email saying, hey, what's up? Why didn't I get a grade? And then in more tools, the last place, there's a couple places you can look. You can look here in calendar. That'll tell you there are some things that have due dates that will pop up in the calendar. The other place you can look is rubrics. I'm going to show you that real quick. There's a rubric for the final paper and a discussion rubric. So this tells you how I will grade those items. And that is the course in a nutshell. Obviously, if you have any questions, please email me. You can email me through D2L. I am on that every morning, Monday through Friday, typically not on weekends, or you can email me at my email address that's listed on the syllabus. I do check that a little bit more frequently, although I do try to have a little bit of work-life balance, and I stay offline typically after 5 o'clock. That's not always successful, but I try. But I am a lot more available via email. So anyway, there's the course. I look forward to meeting you all this semester, and we'll see you soon.